Absolutely. It's all about finding creative solutions, Andrew. I started my blog with just a laptop and an internet connection. How about you? What was your first step without any cash to back it up?
Well, I took baby steps. I started by working for free at a local business to get some experience under my belt. And then, when I had enough proof of concept, I went for small gigs where I could earn just enough to cover my expenses and reinvest in the project.
That's smart. Another approach is to barter or trade services with other businesses. Swap design work for marketing help or something like that. Have you tried anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I did some of that too. A local artist would do my graphics if I helped her set up an online store. It's all about making connections and being flexible.
Agreed. And don't forget about crowdfunding platforms. They can be a great way to raise funds without giving away equity in your business. You pitch your idea, and people invest with the hope of a return later on.
True, but even if you're not looking for money, you can still use it as a platform to get visibility. For example, I used Kickstarter to get my name out there by offering early bird specials or unique perks that only backers could have.
Right. Another tip is to look into government grants and small business loans with low interest rates. They can provide the funding you need without you having to spend your personal savings.
Definitely worth checking out, Ava. But remember, not all of them are easy to get. I had to do a lot of research and prepare some detailed financial projections before applying for any grants.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, another thing that can help is using free tools online. There's so much you can do with software like Canva for design or Hootsuite for social media management. Both are free versions that get the job done pretty well.
That's a great point. And don't underestimate the power of your network either. Friends, family, and even acquaintances might be willing to invest their time or resources into your business in exchange for equity or just because they believe in you.
True. It's all about building that support system around you. Plus, once you have a few people on board, it can make a huge difference when things get tough.
Couldn't agree more. And finally, keep costs as low as possible by cutting non-essentials and doing everything yourself until you start seeing some traction.
Exactly. It's about being resourceful and not getting discouraged if the going gets tough. Just remember to stay persistent and believe in your idea. Those are the things that will really make a difference.
Well said, Ava. Thanks for sharing all these tips with me. Starting a business without money is definitely possible. It just requires some creativity and hard work.
Anytime, Andrew. And hey, if you need any advice or want to bounce ideas off someone, feel free to reach out anytime.
So, Ava, we're talking about a really hot topic today, starting a business with absolutely no capital. It seems crazy, right? Like, how do you even begin?
Totally. It feels insane at first, but honestly, it's becoming increasingly achievable. It's less about having money and more about being resourceful and smart. A lot of people think you need a big investment, but that's often a myth. Where do you even start when you've got nothing to throw at it?
Exactly. I've been looking at some stuff, and the first thought is, I need a product. But a product costs money to create, right? That's the biggest hurdle.
It's a major one, absolutely. But you don't necessarily need to manufacture something from scratch. Think service-based businesses. Consulting, virtual assistant work, freelance writing, things you can offer with just your skills. And even digital products like ebooks or online courses can be created with free tools.
That makes sense. So like if I'm good at writing, I could build an ebook. But how do you even get clients when you're starting out? That's the scary part.
That's the second hurdle. Networking is everything. Start with what you have: social media, friends, family. Offer your services for free or at a heavily discounted rate to build a portfolio and get some testimonials. Think of it as an investment in your future reputation.
Okay, so barter too? Like, I'll write your website copy if you help me with my social media.
Definitely. Bartering is fantastic, especially when starting out. It's a way to get your foot in the door and build relationships. Plus, it's a win-win. Don't underestimate the power of the trade. It builds goodwill.
I'm liking this. Another thought, marketing, right? How do you get the word out without spending anything on ads?
Organic reach is key. Content marketing. Create valuable content, blog posts, videos, infographics that solves your potential customers' problems. Share it everywhere. And engage with your audience. Build a community.
So consistency is huge then, because if you start something and then disappear for a week, it's going to be harder to get back on track.
Precisely. A consistent, valuable presence is crucial. Plus, lean into free publicity. Reach out to local media, bloggers, and influencers. Offer yourself as an expert. The key is to provide genuine value.
It sounds a little overwhelming, to be honest. But if you break it down into small steps, like today, I'm going to update my LinkedIn profile.
Exactly. Small, achievable goals build momentum. And don't be afraid to fail. Every failed attempt is a lesson learned. The most successful entrepreneurs have made lots of mistakes.
That's a good point. So, let's say someone wants to try this. What's the very first thing they should do?
I'd say, honestly, identify one skill you have and something you're genuinely good at. Then figure out how you can offer that as a service to someone. Don't overthink it. Just start.
Okay, that's incredibly practical. I think that's a great starting point. It's amazing that starting a business doesn't always need a huge bankroll.
Absolutely. It's about hustle, creativity, and a willingness to learn. And honestly, the passion for what you're doing will often be your biggest asset. It's a journey, not a sprint.
I've always been interested in starting my own business, but I don't have any money. It's like everyone says, if you want to start a business, you need to be rich. Ava, that's such an outdated idea. Starting a business with no money is totally possible, and I should know because I've done it before. Andrew, yeah, I guess so. But how do you even get started? You can't just pay your way out of financial trouble, that's for sure. Ava, exactly. The first thing you need to do is identify a problem or a need in the market and find a way to solve it. Then you can start researching and learning everything you can about your business idea. Andrew, okay, that makes sense. But what if I don't know where to start? Do I just sit around and think all day until an idea comes to me? Ava, no, there's no magic formula for coming up with a great business idea. Sometimes it takes time and trial and error, but you can also join online communities or attend networking events to meet people who are already doing what you want to do. Andrew, that sounds like a good plan. But how do I get the word out about my business when I don't have any money for advertising? Ava, well, there are plenty of free marketing channels out there, social media, blogging, podcasting like this one, and even just spreading the word to your friends and family. Andrew, yeah, that makes sense. But what if nobody is interested in my product or service? I don't want to waste all my time on something that's not going to work. Ava, that's a risk you'll always take when starting a business, but it's also an opportunity to learn and grow. You can start by testing your idea with a small group of customers and seeing how they respond. Andrew, okay, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. But what about the actual money? Do I really need to find investors or something? Ava, most businesses don't need investors right off the bat. You can start by bootstrapping your business, which means using your own savings, if you have any, or revenue from early customers to fund your growth. Andrew, that sounds like a great option. But what about taxes and all that paperwork? I've heard it's a nightmare. Ava, yeah, there are definitely some administrative tasks involved in starting a business, but there are also many resources available to help you navigate them. You can hire an accountant or lawyer who specializes in small business law to guide you through the process. Andrew, all right, I think I'm feeling more confident about starting my own business now. Thanks for sharing your expertise with me. Ava, no problem. Happy to help. Starting a business is scary, but it's also incredibly empowering. If you're willing to put in the work and take some calculated risks, there are few things more rewarding than seeing your idea come to life. Andrew, I couldn't agree more. Now I just need to go out there and make it happen. Ava, that's the spirit.